the stage, please do so now. Well, while we're waiting for Al, how about we go around and introduce ourselves? I'm Brian from the ICON team. I work here at eXp Realty, and I am honored to be with all of you today. So if you want to start, Stacy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. Stacy Lambright. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I like to say I started my real estate business in the 1900s. I'm in year number 27. I've been with eXp for 4.5 years, and I'm on my 5th ICON run. Actually, I'm sorry, I just hit it actually. 5th ICON, and I'm a single agent. I do about 20 million a year.
Nice. And whoever wants to go next.
I can go next.
Awesome.
I'm Cedric Gauthier from Ottawa in Ontario. I'm in my 11th year right now. I've been with eXp for about probably the same time, November 2018. So close to you, I guess, Stacy. I'm hitting my 5th year. And I'm, same for me, I just hitting my 5th ICON in probably the next deal or so. I have my own team. So I have, I'm not sure how it works in the US, but in Canada, we have I'm able to have my own office. So I have my own office here through eXp. We've made the top 50 teams last year with 54 million in sales. And that's just 3 agents, essentially. Yeah, that's pretty much us. Thank you.
Great. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, so I'm from South Bend, Indiana, right by Notre Dame. As a team, we typically do around 40 million a year or so. Year to date, I'm at about, including my pendings, I'm at about 13 million. We joined eXp just over a year ago.
Good morning, guys. Hope you guys can hear me. Sorry for the delay. It's just been a chaotic situation for me, but I'm here. I'm alive, and sorry for any delays. But hello, everybody. And I heard your questions. Thanks for asking those, Brian. Appreciate that. So I don't know if Brian, would you like me to stay sitting or standing? Doesn't matter.
Whatever you feel comfortable with.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm
So
glad
anyways,
that you got your audio working.
Yeah. No, I for some reason or another, I thought it was 11:45 would get in, and then 12 o'clock it starts because I had something else yesterday. It was 12 o'clock, and it's just been. I'm not one to give up excuses, but God, from yesterday till today, it's just been like one thing after another. Then I walk into my office, and then there's a problem deal we have to deal with, and that's just the nature of our business. So welcome to real
that's
estate.
part of being an icon.
That's right.
Awesome,
They call me fireman because I put out a lot of fires every day. So welcome, Adam, Cedric, Stacy, Andrew. Thank you for being on this panel, and welcome everybody to this ICONversation panel that are watching. You got some mega hitters here. I'm hearing the numbers. I'm hearing the production. I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? And you come to realize there's no look, there's no size, there's no religion, no race, no anything to be a top producer in the business called real estate. And I'll tell you, I've seen it many times in industry where, some people think that you have to be a certain look to make it, and you have to be a certain size, you have to have certain energy, certain charisma, certain enthusiasm. That all helps. But the reality is, this business, anybody and everybody can get to the top if you just put blinders on and focus on it. So let's start with just going to roll based on a picture here. Adam, I see how long you've been in the business. So if I had to ask you the last, I would say, let's just say 5 years, what are you doing, Adam, to generate business currently?
Yeah, so a lot of things. I would start off by saying there's not one thing that is the answer to that question that's just going to give you all this gold, right? It's about you being consistent and making sure you're following up. So a couple things that have worked well for me this year. One would be expireds. Expireds are easy to call on. And so expires have been good for me. For sale by owners have always been good for me. And then I do not as many now as I used to, but door knocks have always been a key piece to my business as well. So often I'll tie that with a reason for that door knock. So I had a client last year who wanted a specific type of home in a specific neighborhood. So I'm like, okay, great. So I went and I door knocked just 13 homes, and then sent a postcard out, just introducing myself as I go door knock on these properties. That led to 3 listings. So our average sales price in our market's around like 225-ish. Led to 3 listings, 2 of those in the 800s and 1 in the 600s, just from knocking on 13 doors and sending a postcard. 1 postcard. I didn't do more than 1. So I've had success in doing that type of thing, but I would say the key thing is just be consistent. Put yourself in a position every day to be told no, and add value to people. Like if you're focusing on those type of things, and you get your attitude set, then you get a plan for the day, and then you work that plan, you can be successful in this business.
I'm a big fan of that old school door knocking.
Yeah.
I mean, door knocking, expires, and for sale by owners were my niche. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
It's interesting how many people don't do it anymore. Even during my time when I was doing it, I've been in business not sure if you guys know, I've been in business for 26 years. Was a part of a team for 22 years, doing about 300 to 400 transactions a year, about 80 million in production. And then I went solo about 4.5 years ago when I joined EXP. And I average about 130 closed deals every year solo. And now I just added a couple of agents on my team. And now, we're doing well over 200 transactions a year, kind of climbing back up the ladder of the production I was doing when I was with my brother at Century 21. So all that stuff, door knocking for sale by owners and expires, it definitely works. It doesn't work if you don't work. Everything works if you work. It don't work if you don't work. It's that simple. Great information. Thanks. Appreciate it, Adam. Cedric, give us the same answer to that question, if you don't mind.
Yes. I have a very different answer because, and by the way, door knocking for me, I know it works. I've seen numerous agents do it. It's a great way when you don't have any clients, you don't have any leads. Yeah, you got to work 8 hours a day. So if you don't have clients for 8 hours a day, your job is to go get more clients. But for me, the door knocking has never been big for me. My focus had always been on my database, because there's one thing I realized right away after I got my first referral was that leads aren't all created equal, right? So an online lead is not the same as a referral from your mother, right? So these are both like extremes. But I realized that I wanted to work by referral. And so what I did as soon as I went on my own, which was about 5 years ago, when I went on my own, basically what I did is I figured out who my top 30 people were in my database. And I solely focused on these people, 30 people. So I was calling them, sending them things. And the only criteria from these were, are they going to refer me? Not, is he more pleasant to deal with? Is he a better friend than this other person? Is he a better client? Has he bought a $2 million home or not? Has nothing to do with it. It was only, are they going to refer me? And then so I focused on these people, drop by, giving gifts, all that kind of stuff, and then referrals started pouring in. And like for me, I think it's a more sustainable way long term to go through, because there's nothing, and I'm sure everybody here got referrals, even though you're specializing in door knocking, but there's nothing better than just randomly getting a text, hey, I need to sell my house, or hey, I need to buy my house. You're not competing against anybody. They know you. They want to deal with you. So my goal was to, and it takes some time though, that's the issue. So the first few months, even year, could be hard if you're only focusing on referral, because referrals aren't coming in right away. It takes some time. It's a solid base and solid foundation that you're trying to build. So obviously you got to do what you got to do in order to get there, but that was always my goal. And then once a consistent referral base comes in, then you're golden. Then you can expand, you can increase your team, all that stuff, because you know for a fact that you will make money regardless of how the market is going.
So you can hear two different stories, two different styles, both of them work. It may work for you, may not work for someone else.
Exactly.
So,
both of them work. I'm sure all of us here in front have seen both of these strategies work.
and I'll tell you, everything works. Every system, every way works. It just works better for certain people and not so good for others. And some people are just not comfortable. And I would tell you, get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you're going to be the type of salesperson in this business, always trying to do what's comfortable, you're not going to succeed. I promise you. Always do what's uncomfortable. Yeah.
Whatever system you choose, what Adam was saying, to be consistent, that's what it is. Same for me. If I'm not consistent with my database, I'm not getting the referrals. Doesn't matter. You have to be consistent. If you're not consistent with your door knocking, it's not going to work either. So it's just consistency is the number one thing in what we do.
So Cedric, what you're saying is if you go to the gym for 1 week, you're not going to get results like doing it for 6 months?
Bingo.
There you go. All right. We got here. I can't see the name. Stacy, right? Yeah, Stacy. Same question.
So I'm actually going to blend both because I do both. Absolutely agree that probably our biggest where we generate business is our sphere. We keep track of them on social media. Obviously, I don't think I have to go into too much on that, but we are very active on interacting with our clients, our past clients, and asking for business. But one thing I would add to that, I definitely do farming. And if anybody is a newer agent in here, that is probably right now in our market, there are record-breaking sales literally every day, every week, every month. So pick an area that you're comfortable with. And if you're a newer agent, I would suggest, obviously, don't go into a second or third time, area. Focus on a first-time home buyer, subdivision, and use Zillow. Because if you are the consistent source of marketing for data, for giving market data, it doesn't have to be your sales. And if you take and make that your search in Zillow and watch for, especially for sale by owners and price changes for sale by owners, it will alert you when that comes into your sphere, your farm area. And be different. And by that, I mean, everybody is calling for sale by owners. But if you actually overnight a pre-listing presentation to them and drop it in their actual mailbox, and then follow it up with something that an in-person drop off, and that's a huge source of what we teach our mentors for finding leads. And then also too, if you take a smaller subdivision and every week you can pick your day and be that data source of the record-breaking sales that are in there, it's a great way to really just jumpstart your lead source. And then two, something that people haven't talked about, I use all of EXP's lead source, like the REO program, the affinity program, the military network program. That's a huge part of our lead generation system.
I will tell you what's very cool about this panel, and I've been on many panels here in the world and different events, different whatever, is you're getting a look from different perspectives. Because usually we have, like, on the panel, you guys can agree, everybody's pretty much, top producers or Icon are probably pretty much doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? This is like three different styles. So let's see what we got coming from Andrew. What are you doing? Is Andrew, can you hear me? Can you hear us? Is he on? Is he on the panel or is he not? No, he's not, right? I don't see him up here, right?
No, he's not here today.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, sorry, my mistake. All right, so with that, I'm gonna go to the next question. Actually, before I go to the next question, anybody out of the audience have any questions? Anybody out of the audience have any questions in regards to what we just talked about, just so we can make this a little more interactive? Feel free to chime in or ask or a question in the chat if you guys like. And if not, I'm going to move on to the next question.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Whoever said that.
That's me, Shayna Carter. I'm actually a newer agent to EXP. However, of course, I've been doing real estate since 2018, retired from the government. But right now, just kind of, I feel like I'm rebranding myself in a way, especially with switching from another company. And I was with Century 21 as well. My question is, what I would say for lead generation and also to build up the clientele in newer areas, how do you suggest that I do go about doing that?
Anybody can answer out of the panel if you guys don't mind.
I mean, expireds and for sale by owners are gold, right? Because all these pieces start to come together once you start getting some clients. Like referrals are a huge piece of my business as well, but it's very helpful to have some business, you know? So if you're getting into a new market, are you in a different location when you say new market?
No, I'm not in a different location. I'm still in the same location. And yes, I work on referrals, just trying to, I would say, branch out into newer territory. And with the for sale by owners and the expired listings that you were referring to, how do you suggest going about interacting with them?
Yeah, so you want to lead by adding value. So I have my assistant compile a list every week from Zillow, all the for sale by owners. She checks the do not call list. I can see the phone number, I can see who the owner is, and then I call that for sale by owner, and I'll simply introduce myself and see if they'd like to have a free market analysis done. And then oftentimes they'll say no, and then I'll ask the question, can I ask why you want to be interested in that? And they'll usually tell me, and then a conversation starts up, and then I'm able to show them the value. Hey, even if you're still wanting to sell this by owner, that's great. Let me help you with this process. By you knowing what it could sell for, you're going to have more power in your conversations with potential buyers. You're going to be sure you're not leaving any money on the table. And then I'm able to kind of tell some stories about how I've helped some for sale by owners who couldn't sell their property for $400, and then I've been able to sell the property for them for $470, and then I'll just kind of continue that conversation with them. And my kind of call ratio, so 1 out of every 3 people I can get on the phone, I'll get a market analysis with, and then about 1 out of every 3 of those people will lead to a listing. So it takes time. It probably takes me an hour a week to make those phone calls, and then I'll usually do probably 2 CMAs from that hour of phone calls, and then once every other week I'll get a listing from it. Expireds are a little different animal. By you just simply calling them, they're usually quite open to, at least from what I've experienced, just having a conversation with you. It's my call starts by saying, hey, I'm not sure if I have the right phone number here. Immediately that kind of like calms them down and like, oh, this is an actual person I'm talking with. And then I'll ask them what their game plan is for the property. And then I'll just shut up and let them talk. And then I'll kind of approach it the same way. Hey, would love to analyze your property with you. Do you know why it didn't sell? And oftentimes they'll say, well, I'm going to list with the same agent I had. Well, then the question arises, well, what are they going to do differently for you this time around? Because they had it on the market for 9 months and it didn't sell. And then I'll go into stories as to how I've sold expireds when other agents couldn't get it done. And then I've even had agents call me and say, there's no way you're going to sell that property. And then we sell it, right? So I think the key is you just be active. Every single day, you put yourself in a spot where you're told no, whether you're doing door knocks, whether you're calling your sphere, whether you're doing for sale by owners, whatever it is, just be intentional and get a plan in place to work. If you don't have a plan, you're going to enter each day, oh, I'm going to check my emails. Oh, I got this appointment over here, over there. You're reacting all day. Get a plan and time block a spot to grow your business.
Hey, Adam, I'm just going to tell you, I don't know if what's going on, but we hear you clear, but there's like a ticking noise in the background for some reason or another, and I don't know why that is. Just want to let you know.
Okay.
So.
Hey, Al. I also
Yes.
saw something in the chat box about REO, and I wanted to talk about that really quick. So EXP has an REO certification. Are we seeing a bunch of those in our markets right now? Not a ton, but I will tell you, in our market, we're starting to see the short sales starting to creep back in. Here's when we went through you don't want to wait until there's a niche or a service that's needed, and you're trying to play catch up to understand it. Everybody is predicting that there is going to be another flood of short sales, potentially REOs, and basically in our market the last couple of years, we've had crazy buyers that have paid the appraisal gaps way over market value. Well, a short sale and REO normally comes from when there's a crisis in that person's situation and they can't sell the property for what they owe on it or what they've paid. So I highly suggest, even though you're not, because they commented that they're not seeing REOs in their market, become an expert before it's needed, because when it's needed, we were one of the top short sale teams in 2008 when the market crashed, and I don't think that's happening. But when they do come, when there is a need, be the expert. Why not take the certification through and be prepared for it? Because I do think it will be something we see in the next couple of years, where there's going to be more short sales, more REOs from the market we've had the past couple of years when those buyers or sellers might have a crisis.
So
I 100% agree. How do we go about doing that? I'm sorry. I think I interrupted someone. I was just wondering, how do you get certified?
Absolutely. So if you guys go to, it's a 4 different days certification. It'll be on the EXP calendar. It's through the world, but I will tell you that they normally offer a fast track certification at the in-person events. So then you can go to like a 3-hour class, get certified on the spot. And it is very helpful information, because think about this too. An REO property, the process in where you can kind of dial in on what's happening with the market. A lot of those sellers, you might meet them when they're in the crisis situation, save them from going into the REO and doing a short sell instead. But you've got to understand the process. You've got to understand where to get the data, which there's a notice of, when people are 3 months or 4 months behind on their property, it's public record. Those are good sources, especially if the market gets crazy and you've got to find different ways to bring in buyers. But absolutely. So yeah, you can find the classes. They do them once a quarter, I believe, in the EXP World calendar.
Thank you.
So Amy from Vermont here. I have a question that kind of tails off of the last question. How many ICON agents hyper-focus farming to reach their ICON status? As in identifying an area, establishing yourself in that area, and staying committed to that one specific area.
I do a lot of farming as well. Farming is a great long-term way to generate long-term business too. Like, it's not something that's going to be quick either. Then that's what you need to realize with farming. So farming can take from 6 months to a year before you even start seeing results. But the idea behind farming is really like you consistently market that same area so that at one point people know that you're the person, you're the neighborhood expert in that area. But it's very important to choose which area you're farming. So let's just say, for example, you want to go into this neighborhood because it's a higher end neighborhood. But yeah, you know what? These people, they stay in their homes for 15 years on average. So there's not a lot of turnover. Or even worse, you already have 3 neighborhood experts in that area that own 50% of the market. So it's a very hard one to get into based on these criteria. So you might want to start finding a perfect neighborhood for farming. But then it has to come with, you have to give them value every single time you market to them. Community events, like you focus in that area. If you send some mail outs, it's in that area. And after a while, it will start producing. But you have to be consistent, and it takes some time. That's the issue. So if you're trying to get a quick fix with farming, it's the wrong one. But on the long run, like, we have a lot of success with our farming because it's the same clients that come back over and over.
And I have something to add to that, Al. If you are looking for something that's a little bit quicker, is flip the script a little bit, because some of our newer agents, what we help them do is to partner up with some of our affiliate partners, like a lender, a title company, find a really expensive apartment complex. If you can find first-time home buyers that are paying, in our market, rent is, around $1,500, $1,800 for an entry-level 2-bedroom apartment, well, that can easily convert to a mortgage. So if you target a rental community that has high rents with affiliated partners that can absorb a lot of the cost, and start offering first-time homebuyer seminars once a month in a library, you'll see much faster results with that than I would agree with Cedric, than the farming of a neighborhood.
Absolutely, I agree. And I think it's great branding as well.
By farming, what do you do? I'm assuming that was Cedric that was talking.
Well, what we've done is we've identified our little community where we are. We're the only office the only physical office in our area. So we use that as our advantage. It's kind of the message that we're putting out there. But we have a newsletter that we do every month. It's professionally made. So that has relevant information about market stats, what we do as a team, but also we do a blog that we have on it. And every single month, everybody in our little farming area that we do, it's about 3,500 homes, they get a mail out. They get our newsletter in the mail. Every time we have a new listing, only in that farming area. We don't do this outside of the farming area, but when you have a new listing, we send a mail out saying, "Hey, new listing, call us if you're interested." But then people see that within that farm that we basically have we do sell a lot of homes, right? And you need to be the neighborhood expert if you're going to farm. That's the whole thing. You can. All the community events that we do about 5 a year. They're in Limoges, in our small town. We're not sponsoring teams in our town next to in 10 kilometers away. It's this one there, because it has to be repeatedly the same thing. And that's the idea. Is, let's just say, for example, like Coca-Cola ads, right? They just repeatedly market you Coca-Cola. So after a while, when you see Coca-Cola, when you want a soft drink, you're going to think Coca-Cola. If you're a realtor and you buy a bus ad in a random area, people are going to see that, yes, you're a realtor in that area, but they're not going to remember it 2 seconds after you pass the bus ad, because it's the only time you've seen your name. There's hundreds of realtors out there. But if they consistently see your name on different bus ads, on different billboards, and they get things by mail all the time, after a little while, you're going to recognize that person as being the neighborhood expert. And that's the idea. You have to repeatedly market them after some time. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm working on something for a newsletter. It is, I'm so those that are interested in our newsletter, send me an email. I'm currently working out something. I'll put my email in there.
Will do. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I've got a question for Adam. If we could go back to him, is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been in the business a long time. I've never got into the FSBO expired phone call end of it. I've known dozens of agents that have done it. But Adam, a couple things. Your ratios, you said 1 in 3 want a CMA, 1 in 3 leads to a listing. That's over 15%. That's an incredible close rate. Couple things. Are you, these people are A, they're picking up the phone, it sounds like. B, have they not been hit up by 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 other agents before you've called them? And C, are they already sort of jaded? And in other words, what is your experience when you reach out to these people? Is it a pleasant experience or not so pleasant?
It's a mix of everything. So I would tell you the key in going into, some sellers will show me how many agents have reached out to them. And it's usually at least 5. So those other agents, though, are not offering a free analysis, no strings attached. I'm not listing your property, right? I'm just doing this free analysis for you to help you. And then it's a two-step process, right? So I tour the home, I really build rapport with them, and then before I leave, I set that next appointment for me to come back and review the analysis with them. And then that analysis, presenting that and finding out what they really need can really lead to, that's what the listing comes in at, right? But yeah, you get people who hang up on you, who cuss you out. Like, that's just part of it. But then there are so many people that I add value to, and it's so worth making those calls.
And you get them from Zillow, is that right?
Yep, you get them from Zillow. And those ratios, that 1 out of every 3 people I talk to. So like I made calls.
Yeah, understood.
Okay, cool.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
I was just adding to that because in our market, just to give you guys, it's the exact same scenario. We have 10,000 agents in our central Ohio market. So when that becomes public knowledge on Zillow, you're correct. They are getting a ton of phone calls and stuff like that. So that's why before I even try to talk to them, we actually do, and I have a pre-listing booklet that is very professionally done. It's spiral bound. It talks about us. It's actually made, it's personalized, so it has their name on it. With a very quick, I make it brief. I don't make it really in depth because I want them to really to come to me for numbers. Market snapshot, talk about the record-breaking sales. Most that have been done with agents, I make sure, but they get that before we try to reach out to them. Because if they've seen our name, they've seen the presentation, we overnight it, or if you want to do even a 3-day, something to get it to them really, really fast, that intro becomes it's a lot easier. They now know me. They know my son's in the business with us. They know we've been doing it 27 years. They know we're a local expert. So that might be just to set yourself above and beyond a little bit and combine it with the area that you've chosen to farm. Don't try, especially if you're just getting started. I think it was Cedric that his farming area might be 3,500. I'm going to say most agents getting started don't have the funds to do a correct farm and a consistent farm because you're right. It takes numerous attempts of being in front of them to get them to call back. Pick one little subdivision, but just be the expert in that area. But put something in their hands first. That's my biggest thing. Do the overnight package. Most people are, if you get a postcard or a mailer, they're just flipping it in the trash. But if they get an overnight handwritten, hand-addressed package with a booklet in it, they're going to probably talk to you when you finally reach out or show up in person.
Would you share what that looks like with us? Is that possible to get a copy of what that looks like?
Sure, I'll figure out how to do it. It's literally the booklet itself is already done, and then just my front page I switch out with the family name.
Sure.
But yeah, absolutely. I'll put what I'll do is I'll put my email because it's a PDF file. I will put my email in the chat box, and you guys can send it to me, and I'll send you a copy of it.
Thank you.
Do we have Al back yet? I believe he was having problems with his internet.
I don't think Al is back yet, but Stacy and all of you on the panel, if you want to go ahead and take audience questions or maybe just have more of a discussion, that would be great. Like, I know that a lot of people are starting to use AI. Are any of you implementing that in any way in your business right now?
I'm not, but I'm going to because I just saw the conversation or the podcast that you guys were doing right before then. I was taking notes and writing stuff down. Just curious.
Right?
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I know I've talked to a few agents in world that are currently using AI for listings and things of that nature. And it looks like we have an audience member on the stage. Hey Jay, how you doing?
No, it's not Jay, it's Al. I'm in my office. I got my agents here. My internet is cutting in out, and I don't know what's going on. So he's using his hotspot. So I'm handing him to the hotspot on my computer so I can talk. But I just said, let me jump in.
That's awesome.
I don't know
Al.
what happened.
Thanks for coming back.
Storms, yeah, I'm here. We have storms, and maybe that's the problem. But anyways, so I missed out on a lot. So I do apologize, Ryan. Thanks for taking over and whatever you did and said. So without going backwards, just what's that? Okay. Okay, I can log in. Okay, just give me a sec, guys. Just give me a sec, guys. 1 sec.
Does any other audience members have a question? If not, I can maybe ask Adam and Cedric one off of our little cheat sheet here.
I was
Sure,
trying
go
to
ahead,
look for
Stacey.
your email.
I may not type that in, but I'm going to ask a question to the guys real fast. If you had to give, because obviously, I think we might have some newer agents in the audience, if they, or even newer agents that are experienced, or agents that are experiencing the slowdown, I guess you would call it, what advice would you get someone to maybe start back up their business or to ramp up? Are you guys using any new systems this year? Is your business taking a little bit of a shift, and did you guys implement anything new?
So for us last year, when the interest rates started to go up, like we were rocking 2021, early 2022, we overhired because everything was going well. Then bang, interest rates went crazy, and our market was down 40% in terms of sales from the year before. So basically, we were trying to figure out how do we stay the same, and we ended up staying exactly the same. We didn't go down, but we didn't make more money. But basically, the one way we did is we've been in this for a long time, so we just went back to our database and made sure that everybody in there had a contact plan, like a follow-up plan. And KV Core or any CRM that you have is going to be great for that. Go down to the basic, clear, like not clear, but designate your database appropriately and who makes sense to start following up again. But I guarantee you that you have some old people in there that can start going, that you can start calling again, that are eventually going to be in the market. And the idea is not to sell a home today because the market is down. So in our market, for example, it's not that the prices were going down that much. It's just there was no buyers out there. So you couldn't sell a home. Nobody was interested in buying a home because they were scared of the interest rates. So what we did is everybody we had in mind, we made sure that when the market was starting to pick up again, we were ready then. So that we, as soon as that happened, boom, we went crazy. And it's because of the work that we did in our downtime. But if we would have just taken that for a vacation instead, it wouldn't have worked. But you have to keep in mind that it's everything in real estate, whether it's door knocking or working in database, all the work you're doing is for tomorrow's business. You don't see immediate returns, but the consistency of today's business, today's work is going to give you tomorrow's business.
And Cedric, I hope that the audience actually heard what you said too. There's a little bit of a golden nugget there, because I can talk from experience. I'm an old dog trying to learn new tricks, because our market, we saw that happening also. So I myself literally mastered KV Core, and I will be the first one to say that I was not using it anywhere near to the potential that it could be used. From my first 4 years with EXP. So if the market is in a shift, if you've been in the market for the last probably 8 years, you guys have had a pretty crazy ride with this momentum. And now you're kind of like, oh, what's happening? What's coming? It doesn't mean that you have to make any less money or do any less business, but we're all going to have to work a little bit harder. For me, it was literally going in and exactly what Cedric was saying. I learned KV Core as far as setting up campaigns and stuff like that. And I'm in front of my database way more than what I used to be. We're putting in more hours than what we used to. And you just have to go back to the basics. And, is it always going to be this way? No, but the work you put in now, the momentum that you do, if the market does come back full swing in, 24 months, 12 months, it'll be just the better at that point.
So I will tell you, the one thing I will tell you is this business is it's a great business if you put in your time, your effort, your energy, your role playing, your scripts, your dialogue, your objection handlers, learn how to door knock, learn how to call expires for sale by owners, learn how to call past clients for your influence, work in your database, work in your people that like you, know you, trust you, your neighbors, your dry cleaners, your wherever you do business, wherever you go, you need to have a name badge that says your name and your company, and that you're a realtor on your shirt, lapel, or wherever. You constantly got to be passing out cards. You constantly got to be opening up real estate conversations, because you never know what you never know. And when you're out there in the public at an event or anywhere there's people, when there's a human in front of me, somehow, some way, I'm going to open up that conversation about real estate. And it could be the best question, the smallest question called, I'm just curious, where about you from? and they say the city and one thing leads to another, and then you're talking real estate and you're giving them your information. But I will tell you, I mastered for sale by owners and expireds for many years. That's all I call this off market expires for sale by owners. And that's what I did for many years. And that's what got me to where I got to, doing the amount of business I was doing. But in this market where you get the realtors that, are not doing everything they should be doing, probably will get out of the business. And that's okay, because it keeps it a quality, not a quantity business. I don't think any of us on this panel want 5 million realtors becoming realtors, 5 million people becoming realtors. I think most of us on this panel want the people that are not ready, not willing to do what it takes to succeed in this business and just doing 2-3 deals a year, just to get out of the business and make way for the people that are willing to do what it takes. So it's not cluttered and filled with realtors that just want to, do a deal or two a year and take away business from the realtor that could have taken care of that 1 or 2 deals and made it into 20. So I would tell you, if you're in this business, you can have the opportunity to make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and you can make 2 million and 5 million a year. You just need to decide what is the number that you want to make per week, per month, right? And what is it going to take to do it? Whoever's got dogs barking, we need your mics muted, if you don't mind, please. So, I came out of high school. I was a professional. I traveled around the world 5 times as a drummer. I never went to college, and I always knew I was going to get into real estate because my brother was a realtor, and he was a top producer working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. It was that kind of lifestyle. Didn't even know his kids' ages, And I'll tell you, personally, when I got into the business, I knew what I had to do because my brother would tell me what I had to do, and we were a big following the Mike Ferry system, going to the events and different real estate coaches in the industry. And Mike Ferry and Floyd Wickman, I think, are 2 great real estate coaches that you can follow on YouTube and and whatnot, just to get a base and a foundation to get you rolling. I'm not saying you have to, sign up with them or anything. That's up to you. But I'm just saying, have somebody to watch on YouTube, because we didn't have that when we started. We'd have to pay for all that stuff. And right now, you have so many opportunities to make business and make money so many different ways. If you're just going to get in the business and think that people are going to call you because, you're a people person, that ain't going to work. God created us with 2 ears and 1 mouth so we can listen more than we talk. But unfortunately, most people think that you got to talk more than you listen in this business. So, yeah, I would tell you, this many years in a business, do I have the same drive as I used to have before? No. But what do I do every day is I think, okay, I'm broke. I'm in foreclosure. I have no deals. I have no money. I got to figure out a way to put a deal together here somehow, some way. Because if you start getting comfortable financially, it's very easy to get bored and sick of the business. And then you're not excited to go on an appointment, not excited to close a deal. Nothing excites you anymore. So either you have to figure out what is your why. And that's one thing I'll tell you. If anybody's new on this class, what is your why? WHY. Please spell the names. Please quick start. Okay. Yeah, I'll spell. I don't know. Brian, is it okay if I mention names in this class or chat? I'm assuming it is, but I will. Mike Ferry, Floyd Wickman. These are some old school coaches that have been in the business. But their data, their information, if you watch on YouTube, whether it be old or new, it doesn't matter. It's still the same stuff. Nothing has changed. Okay. The only difference that I would say we have to agree that's changed is probably the way you deliver the message, maybe depending on the market we're in. Adam or Cedric or Stacy, what would you say? Where do you see the market going in the next 5 years?
Who knows? I mean, I think the key is you put your head down and you work. Because if you're just thinking about what's going to happen, and worried about what's going to happen, that's going to distract you, and that's going to come across in your tone as you're talking with potential clients. Like I'm thankful for the market we're in now versus a year ago, because a year ago we had no idea what was going on, and when I look back on that, I was very distracted with the interest rates, and that pulled me away from making my calls like I needed to. And when I realized that, I was able to shift and finished out second half of the fourth quarter of last year really well, and then this year's been awesome because I haven't spent my time worrying and thinking about it. Like, get your attitude right, get your plan right, and then go to work. And if you do that, you'll be successful, and your focus should be on adding value and growth.
Cedric, what's your answer to my question?
Well, it's a hard question to answer, but like I look at government policies in our area. So for us, it's a bit easier, like my area, because we kind of know like government right now is very high on immigration, and Ottawa being one of the targets for, I guess, newcomers or immigrants to come in Ottawa. We know that we're going to have a lot of immigrants, and so there's this housing shortage. So we know that regardless of what happens, high interest rates, whatever, there's a big shortage of homes. So there was a bit of a crash last year with interest rates. Everybody was scared, but now, I mean, we know it's not happening again. So I know that our market is going to be strong for a long time, just based on that. I'm not very scared about our market. It's gonna be a good one. I know it's very area specific of a question, but for us, the market is going to go well.
Great information. Appreciate that, Cedric. Stacy, what's your thoughts?
So my answer would probably be, I don't think any of us know. But just watching and having went through 2008 with some of the trends before and some of the trends after, I definitely don't think it hurts to be knowledgeable on certain things that could be coming, which could be your short sales or REOs. I know there's some great courses in the EXP University. Steph Gillison did an amazing 4-series one on short sales, because it's kind of like, if, why not? There's riches and niches. If you're the only one that's ready when the time's there, and if it's not a huge demand, but you're the only one that really can offer expertise in it in your market, or, market that maybe in Facebook, doesn't hurt. So I would say I'm not sure, but I'm prepared for anything.
So here's my thoughts on what's going to happen, if you guys would like to hear it. I truly believe that every day in every market, any time of the year and any time of the market, we all can agree that somebody's getting married, somebody's getting divorced, somebody's downsizing, somebody's upsizing, somebody's getting evicted, somebody's getting kicked out, somebody's moving out of state, moving in state, moving overseas, moving in seas. Can we all agree to one thing? No matter what market we're in, that we are an essential business? Can we all agree to that, right? We need food, we need housing, we need medical, we need transportation. So for anybody, even during a foreclosure market, during a short sale market, during a high market, low market, any market, if you stop being a fisherman, throwing out the bait and waiting for somebody to bite on the bait, like a lot of the fishermen do, and start being a hunter, because I'm a hunter. I go hunt for fish. I go hunt for animal. I go hunt for transactions and leads. You will always be producing. ABC always be calling. ABR always be ready. ABA always be asking. ABC always be closing. There's all these 3 letters that we can say that are extremely helpful. But if you're going to get into the business and say, well, their interest rates are high, there's not enough inventory, the demand, the this, the that, blah, 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 blah. Listen, this is not a business for the people that are going to just think that, things are going to come to them. Like, I think it was, who was it? Adam said earlier, you get to a point where you're hunting so much, you're prospecting, lead generating, following up so much, because my money is in the follow-up, that you're going to start to get the come list me, which means, you know, a seller calls you that likes you, knows you, trusts you, you know, knows you're seen you or heard of you. And hey, I just want to list your home, my home with you only. You get the buyer call, hey, I'm looking to buy a house and I want to buy it with you only. Well, you're not having to be interviewed or handle those objections that you have to do on, you know, when you're prospecting, lead generating, calling, cold calling, whatever you're doing. But if you prospect and hunt enough, long enough, you're going to start getting those clients that call you. But is that enough to wait for those people that call you only instead of you hunting? So I'm a big believer, you got to hunt every day. You got to call every day. I'll give you something that will blow your mind. I constantly tell people to call your past clients. And I wasn't doing it, you know, for quite some time because I was building a team, building an office. You know, we just now doubled up our size in the office and my group is growing. And so I said, that's it. I had a that's it moment. So from 9 to 12, like I used to prospect expires and for sub owners, which I don't anymore because I built the business now. I started calling all my past clients from the last closing that I had all the way back. And I did, it was like 5 days straight. And then all of a sudden I got 4 listing appointments. And each listing appointment was from the 5 days out of my past clients, each listing appointment was between $300,000 to $600,000. So let's just do the math, an average of 500,000, and there's 4 of them. Do the math. Who can do the math? 3% on $2 million in real estate. Anybody? I'll give you the answer. $60,000 in commissions for calling my past clients and asking them how things are going. You know, who do you know looking to buy or sell? Hey, can you help me? I'm looking for help. You know, yada, 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 right? And I'm like, God, man, imagine if I do this every day, how much business I would get. So my advice to you in this class, in this panel, is don't stop hunting. But I will tell you, if you're going to be a fisherman, throw out the bait on social media, on whatever you're doing, throw out the right bait, because some fishermen all standing on the same boat or all standing on the same dock, some are catching more than others. And what separates the ones catching more than others, they have the right bait. So use the right bait and be a hunter and be consistent. The one thing I would tell you that we can all agree on is being consistent, being persistent, and everything you're doing and we're doing needs to be done every day, just like exercise. And some people exercise and want results in 2 weeks and 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And the reality is any kind of results takes at least 60 to 90 days, and you got to keep doing it consistently and forever. I hope that helps. I think, I don't know, Brian, we have 1 hour exactly. So should this end at 12:45? Am I correct? Or is this, yeah, okay. Or my 12:45 Eastern, I would say. Any other questions to the panel or to myself before we end? Yes, Kamita, time flies when you're having fun. We can go on for days and hours in these classes and these panels. I mean, 26 years of I've been in the business. I'm still learning. I'm still learning different things, and it's never ending information education.
Awesome, Al. Thank you, everybody who joined us today. Yeah, the hour does go really fast. And keep in mind, we have these every single Friday. So if any of you want to come by, bring a guest, please do so. I want to thank you all on the panel. Your teachings are going to help a lot of people in the audience here in world and also out there on YouTube where it's streaming live. If you are watching this, click that like button. All right, I want to thank you guys and have a great rest of your week and weekend.
Thank you all. Thank you to the panelists, and thank you, Brian, and thanks for all watching. You can follow me on Instagram if you like, or on social media, at Al Abdallah eXp Realty. I think we should all follow each other and support each other and learn from each other.
Bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Likewise. Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.